I was in the past months thinking about how we need to give this conscious to all devotees that book distribution is not just something some devotees do and the others don't do. It's the mission that we need to carry out. So some devotees they may like go every single day in the year. Some devotees go a few days on book distribution. But also, even if we don't have like this service as our main service, we can still do. For example, there is one devotee in Los Angeles. I remember she was bringing me to the park, and as soon as she stopped the car, there was coming a Mexican couple, and she just came out the car and said in Spanish, like, "Do you like to read?" And she went and gave them one book to each one of them. So she was always looking for situations where she could give books to the people. So even though we have like our jobs or activities or family and everything, we can still have some books with us and take advantage of any situation, any interaction we have with other people to give books to them. If we are going to the market to buy something, or I don't know, you're going to walk in the park, whatever you do, you can bring some books with you. And just give the books when you have the opportunity. Interaction, any kind of interaction you have, it's an opportunity. I remember once Navina Nirda was giving a class and he was explaining that he was traveling with Rohini Nandana and they went to wash the car and they stopped in the place where he would wash the car, and there was an old lady there, and he saw the lady, and Rohini Nandana just like said to the lady hello, and he was thinking if she said like hello back to him, she would get a book. He was thinking about that, and the lady said hello, and Rohini Nanda immediately took a Bhagavad Gita and gave to this lady, and she gave like some donation. But like they are always looking for situations where they could give the book to someone. So although we don't have like this Sankirtan as our main service, we still can do um, a good quantity of books in the month. We can, for example, pay for a few small books using the money that we are earning from our jobs, and then having these books distributed during the month. I don't know, 10 books, 20 books, 100 books. We can establish some goals like 5 to 10 books a week, whatever works for us. But everyone should, in some sense, connect themselves to the book distribution. Or in some cases, you can also like finance the books. You can pay for the books so that some other devotee can go on and distribute the books. But it's very important for us to connect ourselves to the book distribution. When I was just a new devotee, I remember that for me there was no other service. There was only book distribution. Although sometimes I was in the temple washing pots, cleaning, cooking, whatever. For me, this service was like just something that was doing because was needed. The situation was like asking me for that kind of activities, but the only service I was doing was book distribution. So for Prabhupada, the main thing was for us to get more people to come. And the main activity that bring people to the temples are book distribution. So everyone should, in some sense, connect with book distribution. Even like Harinam, or if we organize some preaching program, some talks in the university or any place, in the end, we must be giving Prabhupada books out. It is very good because you are giving the opportunity to the person to like hear what Prabhupada is saying. And Prabhupada, because he is pure in his heart, he can connect with the person deeply. And it is easy for them to understand Krishna consciousness through Prabhupada's words. So it's a very important service. It is very unique because when you are out, Krishna manifests himself in many ways, many ways, many ways. I remember just a few months ago, we were in the university and we were giving a talk about how to avoid suicide. And we had like 2 books about yoga at that point. And we gave like a 30 minutes talk, but our main goal was to get the students to come to the table and take some books. And we are speaking to around 100 people, 100 students. And in the end, they start to come to the table to pick up the books. So the goal was to give some knowledge to them, but also to them to take the books with them. Sometimes when you are speaking, the knowledge is coming, but people don't retain the knowledge. It's just come and goes. They will forget next day. But if they have a book with them, they still are able to go to the pages and to recap. So they can do this like every single day and maintain focus on the knowledge that they were receiving. Even some people, they are really smart, but memory in Kali Yuga is, we cannot depend on our memory too much. That's why the books are important. People can still be connected to the mission. And there is some places it's more easy to distribute books. Some places more difficult. Some nature, there is some devotees that has different nature. So some devotees has this like very introspective nature. So for them would be more difficult to do book distribution. Some devotees, they like to speak, they speak loudly. So for them could be easily an easy service to do. But independent of our nature, our tendencies, or whatever goals we have in life, we can still connect ourselves with the book distribution. Even I was struggling because in 2018, I started a project where the main focus on the project was prasadam distribution. And it was for me a little difficult to find the proper ways to also keep the books going on. But we can still always looking for some solutions, some options, some ways. I remember in Chicago, we had just this small box And I was going to some stores and asking the owner, the manager, to keep the box there and use this box to distribute books. So you put some books in the box with a sign like take a book and give a donation. And people enter the store, they start to see the product, and they could see like take a book and give a donation. No? See, people could take the book. Sometimes they don't give a donation, sometimes they give, but whatever. I know that some devotees, they don't think that is good for people to take the books without giving a donation. And Prabhupada asked the devotees to ask for a donation when they give the books. When people take like free stuff, sometimes they don't value them. But I don't know, sometimes people really don't have the money and they are really interested in the books. So in those cases, it's fine to give the books for free. We must see, it will depends on the person. It's not good to give the book free for someone that don't have any interest in the philosophy and in the book. Because if they take the book and they like throw the book in the trash or something like that, it will not be good for them. So we must be careful with this kind of situation. So it's the best thing is always look for the proper person if you want to give the books for free. Especially when you have like some kind of connections with the person, it's better. Uh, they can value more what you are giving to them than if you're just going passing out the books without any kind of consideration. And it's a very sattvic service, book distribution. You must be like in goodness to follow. If you have some passion in the beginning, it's fine. But with like passion, we cannot do for many years. In some point, you will need to come to goodness if you want to do book distribution for the rest of your life. Must be a balance because also the passion is needed, but goodness should be the main thing. And also, if it will help us if we are reading the books. If you are reading every day and you go for book distribution, you can connect more easy with people. If we don't read the books and we are just passing them out, it will be more difficult for us to do the service. So it's very important for us to read the books and then distribute them. And people actually ask you every time they ask, "Did you read these books?" And if you say, "No, I never read these books. I just sell them, or just giving them out," they will not be like inspired by that. But if you are reading and saying, "Yes, I'm reading these books. I'm still reading them. I recommend this one, this one, this one," depending on the situation, we can recommend different books, but we must be reading them. And also, I remember Navina Nirda, he was saying like many years ago that if we read Bhagavad Gita at least 3 verses every single day, we will become naturally inspired to give Krishna to others. naturally. But if we don't read, it will be more difficult to become inspired. And if you are not inspired, it will be difficult to give the books to other people. So it's a very important thing to be reading and sharing the books. Also, there are different kinds of book distribution. You can go to universities, you can do business to business, you can, I don't know, do on the beach, festivals. I remember in 2007, I used to go to the beach and do books distribution there. So people used to go with their families. They are sitting there, looking the waters and the sun, like heavy sun. I was going, and the people, because they are like peaceful and sometimes was not good because they don't have too many clothes on them. But most of the time was a good time, good opportunity. Yeah, so festival people are open. They are like in this energy to enjoy the festival, the music, and this and that. So they are more open. So we also must see um, good places where people are open. And of course, university has the main place because students, they are open to knowledge. They are going to learn every single day. So that's something that they can relate to. And also the way we present is something important because I have seen some devotees do crazy stuff. So it's important to always giving people a good impression. If they take the book, if they don't take the book, in any situation, we must give them a good experience. Because maybe sometimes they don't take the book with you, but they will take the book with someone else. I have this experience many times that like we have like 2, 3 devotees doing in the same street, and people come to me, they speak to me, they don't take the book, they walk like 20 feet, and they take the book from another devotee. But it's very important for us to give like a good impression so that they will have the opportunity in another time to take the book. And sometimes they really don't have any money or they are running and they will come back later and take the book with you. So that's why it's always important to maintain a good relationship with the people, give them a good experience, because in this way we are making sure that in the future they will still be able to take the book. If not with us, with someone else. So we must like be really careful when we are doing this service. Because once the person has like a bad experience, it will be really difficult for them to start their spiritual life. Really difficult. And also, I think this is the most important point on book distribution is the mentality of the devotee that is doing the service. If your mentality is just like to passing out the books and the quantity of books you are doing is like how is your score I mean, it's nice, but it's not like overall, it's not good. Especially, it's not good for the people and for the places that you are serving. Because the main point when we are doing book distribution is to take people to some place where they can start their spiritual life. I mean, practicing it in the association of other devotees. When they take the book, they are starting their spiritual life. But if they don't have association with other devotees, then they'll have a place where they can go and do some service. Most of the time, they will be limited to just having the book at their homes. And we don't know. Sometimes they read the books, sometimes they don't read the books. But if we are bring them, or if you have this desire to bring them to some project, to some temple where they can like have association with other devotees, so these devotees can inspire these people to read the books and can give them some practical service and can assist them in many different ways. So it's important for a devotee that is doing Sankirtan to desire that from the book distribution, some new devotees will come. If we have the desire to make new devotees during book distribution, so many people will start to come. I have this experience in Monterrey. We were like 4 brahmacharis, um, 5 or 6 brahmacharis, and we used to go like together and with this desire to like to bring people to make new devotees. And every Sunday we have like 50 to 100 people in a small center. We just have like small center, really small, but people were coming. And the festivals were like, we have like big prasadam, sweets and everything. We have like Bhagavad Gita class and everything. But because we have this desire to bring people, people were coming. Just give the books without like this kind of consciousness, this desire to make new devotees, to give them the opportunity to join some project, or even making new Sankirtan devotees. It is, I would say, it is not good at all. In some sense, it's nice to have like thousands and thousands of books out there. But if we are not making thousands and thousands of devotees with these books, something is missing. And sometimes what is missing is the desire of the devotees to make new devotees. The movement must grow. We need to hurry up because Kali Yuga has become more intense. We have like 2020 have this experience, like everything was closed, we cannot do anything, everything was like really difficult. And since then, people are changed. So Kali Yuga is becoming heavier and heavier each year. And if we don't do anything to make more devotees, things will become more and more difficult for everyone. Especially like in small projects, we need to have, for example, programs for children, programs for everyone. And to have these programs, we need new devotees to come. Like Bhagavan was saying that we need to have like a restaurant in the city. For this, we need new devotees to come. Yeah, for develop any project we may have, we need new devotees to come. So we always need new people to be coming. So in this way, when we go out with this desire to make new devotees, so we can make every project grow and become strong and develop like in a higher sense. Also, everyone that comes from book distribution, they understand the importance of book distribution. So it will be easy for them also do book distribution. So anything else, Prabhu, that we could be speaking now?
I have a comment. I really like the point. There were a couple of points about you said there was a devotee. She would just keep a few small books on her and she would look for an opportunity. And I think that that's a good way to always stay in samadhi. Practical samadhi is where you have a few small books. And maybe if you meet one nice person in an elevator, or even if you meet a nice person at the supermarket, you have something on you. A lot of times I'm so focused on my service, which is another form of meditation. You just think to go in the store and come right out. But you can get some bonus points by carrying one, two, three small books on you. And Krishna will send people if you have this mentality to take those books. Krishna, and sometimes I've seen too, where I'm driving around and then all of a sudden I bump into somebody I haven't seen in 5, 6, 7 years. And they go, "Oh my God, are you still doing kirtans?" And I say, "Yes." And then I think, "Oh, I didn't have a book on me." Or if I do have a book on me, I can see Krishna's always making these arrangements. So I like that point. And then I also like the point about the donations for the books. It has a different potency, even if it's just a quarter or 50 cents or a dollar. I went yesterday or 2 days ago. I was downtown because we have this big, big parade on the 27th, and I was buying some parking spaces from a lady that runs an eco center. It's like a gardening center. And I started asking her, "What do y'all do here? Do y'all have workshops?" She says, "We have workshops." And I said, "Well, how's it work?" She says, "They're $5 to register." And she goes, "The only reason we charge $5 is so that people can commit. Otherwise, they reserve their space for free and they won't show up. So if they give something, they'll commit." So this is just like a common knowledge kind of thing. If people give, then they're buying in and they're committing. They're saying, "You know what? I worked hard. I gave $2. I'm going to read this for 5 minutes and see what it's about." Maybe they throw it away or they give it to somebody else afterwards, but they got some advancement for $2. Their spiritual life has started and they've got to hear from a pure devotee. So I like this point too about, as much as possible, try. Some time back we saw devotees, they were giving out free books, and the people were saying no, even if it was free. It's like they were treating it like it was a pamphlet. It's a full Bhagavad Gita, and people were saying no, and then the devotee would say, "No, please take," and they'd say, "Okay, I'll take the book." And you could see how more than likely they're probably not going to take to it because, they didn't want it for free. So they're just going to treat it like some religious book that they get from any other religious organization, as opposed to collecting a few dollars in donations just to cover the print costs, whatever it may be. Uh, People doing that may be a little bit more interested. Looks like somebody's joining the room. I think this is Shashi or Lana. So we have to have a little bit of discrimination as well sometimes. We can't just go and give books away or force the books on people. They may not be ready. But that's also why I keep a little box of lollipops. So, okay, they don't want the book. Let's see if they'll take a lollipop. Okay, they don't want the lollipop. Let me give them an invitation. So as much as possible, I try to create different avenues. And usually they'll say yes to one of the three things because by then I'm giving them a different option. So they're not frustrated with the same thing. And it's an easier option each time. You don't want the book, take a lollipop. You don't do sugar, okay, take this paper. They don't want the paper, or if I can tell they don't want the paper, then, we move on to the next person. There's plenty of people out there. So, another comment, my last one is, sometimes you can have a horrible experience. I'm sure you've had this happen. You're doing book distribution, people are coming. All of a sudden, you have somebody that's completely, and this is the overall mood of just giving Krishna to others. How we should stay enthused. Somebody comes and they're rude. They just say, "Ah, what is this? It's da 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 da," and it just leaves you with a really bad feeling. And you're just like you're so angry because somebody just said something really ugly and then they leave. And then somebody so nice comes up right afterwards. They say, "Oh my God, you have all these books. This is amazing." And then you just have to adjust, or vice versa. You can have a beautiful person come up and then a rotten person come up behind them. So this shows you can't be attached when doing book distribution or when giving, even giving, this concept is there when giving Krishna to others or performing a service. We can't be attached. It's matras prasastu kanteya sitosna sukha dukkha. We have to be equiposed in our service. So don't be attached to only these type of bright light people and pushing away these other people. And I've had these other people too. They have really rude, mad, grumpy faces, and you think, oh no. And they come up and they're the sweetest and they're the most receiving because they're going through a tough time. And then you have other people that are dressed in suits with makeup or whatever it is, and they won't take the book. And it's the guy over here with the tattoos on his face. Or sometimes it's the other way around. So it's like you have to be open to everything because you never know what's in people's hearts, regardless of any external appearances. It's like we have a tendency to say we as devotees are not the body, but also these people out here that are they're innocent ultimately. But their innocence can be shown in many different ways. It can be shown through anger, uh, being timid or shy. It can be shown through being happy and appreciative. So their innocence can be shown in many different ways. We have to be open to that too. So we have as much as we have to discriminate, but not discriminate in one sense. We have to really try to see an opening to distribute the book. So I like those 2 points you made, especially about the one with the lady, just to have a few books on you and constantly look for an opportunity. Does this person seem like they would be open? Anyways, few thoughts.
Yeah, I was remembering here a few pastimes, and there is one lady. She was in a train doing books distribution. I think it was in Europe, and she met like an old guy, heavy, like really angry man, and this guy threw this devotee from the train, and she fell and broke her arm. And the thing is, she gave him a Bhagavad Gita, and she could not take the Bhagavad Gita back. So the Bhagavad Gita stayed with him, and like she moved on with her life and everything. And this guy took the Bhagavad Gita to his home, placed the book there, and many years later, like 10 years later, he was going through some tough situation, and he was looking in his bookshelf, and he saw that book, and he said, "What's this book?" And he took it, and he started to read the Bhagavad Gita. And he said, "Oh, this book's amazing. It's such a nice book." And he started to go to the temple. He became a devotee, and he remembered, "Oh my God, what I did." And in a festival, he met this devotee like 10 years later. And he went, "Oh, I'm so sorry what I did with you. I don't know what happened with you, but I show you from the train, and I'm so sorry. And this devotee didn't even remember about that. And she was like, oh, no problem, no problem. I'm happy that you finally could read the Bhagavad Gita. That was some Krishna's arrangement. So even though the people may take the book is like not the proper way, and I had some situations that people stole my books. Huh? I had a bag of books, like with 40 books once, and I was keeping the bag like near me, and then something happened, and I moved out from that area, and when I came back, the bag was not there. So the person took all my books. But we don't know. Maybe these books they end up in the hands of someone that could become a devotee. So we never know the destination of the books. So sometimes if you are giving like a free book, we don't know what can happen with the books that we are giving out. But the best is always to make sure the person will value what we are giving to them. That is always the best. But even if the devotee is like just giving them out, we don't know. We don't know because sometimes the person will not read it, but maybe the son or the grandson will take advantage. In Monterrey, we have one situation like this that the grandfather bought the book like in the 90s, and then 30 years later, this guy went to visit his grandfather, took the book, started to read it, and started to look for the devotees. And he went to the temple and started to become a devotee. So we never know. The books are Krishna. So Krishna is moving himself here and there. Of course, it's nice to have like many books spread all over as much as possible. Prabhupada's desires was like we have millions of books distributed all over, continually, every single year, millions of books going out. That was Prabhupada's desire. It is Krishna. So Krishna is moving here and there. And Krishna is giving the opportunity to others in some way. Even if if they just clean the books and they have the books at their home, they never read, they still are getting some benefit. They have Krishna there. And at some point, someone will come and take advantage. I also saw in Brazil that one guy he had like many books from devotees, but he didn't like the devotees. And he has a friend, and this friend went to his house and he saw the books there. He took one and he liked it. He said, can I read this one? I said, all right, yeah, you can read. I took these books from some crazy guys on the street. Yeah. And he took the book and started to read it. And he entered the temple and he became devotee. And he went to his friend and said, oh, this book changed my life. Now I went with these crazy guys that you said me, and I become one of them. I'm become a devotee. And he said, really? Yeah. He said that these books are very nice. Have you read some of them? And he said, I don't know why I bought all these books. I don't know what inspired me to do that, but I don't know, just took them. And then his friends started to convince him to start to read the books too. And he started to read a little bit. And he also started to go to the temple. So the books are Krishna. And Krishna are manifesting in some way in the life of these persons. And we never know. We never know what will happen if we have this desire that new people comes from book distribution, they will come. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. Prabhupada's words are really powerful. We just need to give people the opportunity to read them. Or even, I remember this group, the Harinamaruchi. They have some, like many years ago, they have some CDs with lectures and books, digital books, and things like that. And I remember they went to Brazil and they were selling these CDs. And I was thinking, I don't know if that is really good or if the best is like the books itself. And then I had the opportunity to meet someone that took one CD from them and they were listening. There was a Prabhupada a lecture there and they were listening to Prabhupada. So even though um, I would say it's not the best, especially nowadays, no one even have a way to listen to CDs anymore. But I would say it's not the best, but it's something, and the king also works. I would say that we should do whatever works the best. If the devotee sometimes for them it's difficult to ask for money. But I know some devotees they have a hard time like asking for money. They like to do book distribution, but they just don't know how to ask people for money. They struggle, and sometimes they give the book for free. But they are always looking for the proper persons. And if that works, I think it's fine. If it don't work, if people are taking the books and throwing them in the trash or throwing in the street, something like that, we should stop. My spiritual master is always saying this, like we must see what is the best, what is working. It's not some kind of like rule you must do in this way, but we must see what is working, what is making people take advantage of Krishna consciousness, think of advantage of Prabhupada's words and teachings, and just follow doing that same thing that is working. It's, until it's working, because if it for some time works and then stop working, we need to change the strategy. Like in Brazil, the devotees used to be little hard on people. Like they used to stop the person and only let the person go through them if they took the book. Basically, they are forcing people to take the books. And I don't know, they were distributing like 1,000 books daily. Daily. They have like a minimum of 800 books a day. If you could not get to the 800 books, you could not go back to the temple. Like something like in the 70s, late 70s, in the beginning of the 80s, they have some rules like that. They are like strict. You must do at least 800 books in the day. So the voters, they are pushing people. And of course, it was another time, but even though like people didn't like the devotees because of that, it was too much. But still, all these books, they they like influence the people in the 90s and beginning of the 2000s. All these books that were distributed in the end of the 70s, beginning of the 80s. Still, we have some people that goes to temples, even nowadays, that have some influence on these books. Like they are, I don't know, great grandsons or great grandsons of people that took the books at that point. So we must see what works, what give people good impression, and that is the best way to do the book distribution. Also, some devotees they go with their children, and people see like little children giving them a book, and they become inspired to take the book. Like 5 years old, 7 years old, 10 years old, they see the children, they become inspired to take the book. Yeah, we must also have this kind of program where everyone can come and share. And when devotees are sharing their experience, what they are doing, so everyone can maybe change a little bit here or say a little bit more there or learn the best way to ask for the donation. It's very important to have Sankirtan festivals. In Brazil, we had once a year, then we changed to twice a year. I don't know if they are still doing. It's very important to everyone come together and share their experience. In this way, utsaha, we get inspired to do more. Anything else, Prabhu?
Yeah, I appreciate all that. Anybody else have any more questions? I see Nadia just joined. I don't think we've met before, but thank you for joining. Anybody else have any? Is 956, is this Shashi or is this Lana? Okay. Yes, they're muted. I guess we can go ahead and end here. Normally we have fourth Saturdays, but next Saturday we have a big festival here. So that's why we were unable to do it this time. But next month we'll have fourth Saturday of the month. We'll go ahead and stop here. Thank you everybody for joining, and we'll see you next month, Saturday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. No problem. We'll see you next time. And if there's in the future, one of the goals is with all this is to be a little bit more united.